Hello, everyone. People take their seats. It's hard to sit down after so much time not seeing each other, isn't it? Good afternoon. My name is Veronica Gomez. I'm the outgoing president of the Chicago Bar Foundation, but this is the one and only of these events that I get to be here in this role in person. So last year was a whole different thing. So I'm very pleased to be here. It's like the emotion, right? It's hard to get your head around. So I'm so happy to be hosting this event with my fellow CBA and CBF leaders who are here with us, and you'll hear from as the program goes on. I'm really excited to welcome you. This is our 23rd annual Pro Bono and Public Service Awards Luncheon. As some of you might have heard, this is actually the first event at the Hilton since the pandemic hit us in 2019, or 2020. So to all of the Hilton serving staff, kitchen staff, cleaning staff, maintenance staff, garage staff, administrative staff, everybody that made it possible for us to be back here together, thank you. We're so glad to be back. So today we're going to honor some unsung heroes of our profession, and you guys are really helping to reopen a crown jewel of the city. This is a really momentous occasion in a lot of ways. The song we opened with is in the spirit of optimism of Chicago coming back. I know Bob will have more to say about that later in the program. Because we have more limited capacity this year, I know a lot of our friends and colleagues couldn't be here in person today. So for the first time, we're videotaping the event, and a recording will be available right afterwards on YouTube. So for those of you that are going to be watching us later, welcome. Thanks for being with us. So last year we had a virtual event, and we were able to do something to sort of get together. I actually remember it pretty vividly. Back then it felt so challenging to figure out, to queue up introduction and then video, and I didn't know how to tell when I was on the screen and the whole thing. And now it's like my life has become much too much on video, but we were able to get together, but we weren't really able to fully recognize in the same way our winners from last year, our award honorees from last year. So I just want to take a moment to recognize those impressive winners. Several of them are able to be here with us today. So Ken Schmetterer, Jane Mansell, Marty Cazzola, and Wendy Pollock. So please join me in a round of applause. Thank you. And we have another amazing group of lawyers and judges that we're going to honor today. We're proud to award a new honor, the Kilbride Public Service Award, for the first time. I saw Justice Kilbride. I don't remember where he's sitting. So we're really pleased that Justice Kilbride can be here with us today. Bob, remind me where he's. Okay, there we go, down here. Thank you very much. Welcome. Justice Kilbride joins us with many of his friends and family, including his mom. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the inspiration that you've been for all of us for so long, Justice Kilbride. So congratulations to all of our honorees. Thank you again for joining us, whether you're here in person, whether you're watching us later online. I know we're going to be inspired as we hear from our honorees, and on that note, I'm pleased to introduce Adam Vaught, who will present the inaugural Kilbride Public Service Award.
Good afternoon. It's nice to be in public. My name is Adam Vaught. I'm a partner at Hinshaw & Culbertson, and I'm honored today to present the inaugural Justice Thomas L. Kilbride Public Service Award. I worked for Justice Kilbride for 5 years, including the 3 years he served as Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court. During that time, I saw firsthand his daily commitment to pro bono and public service, and his deep concern that the court system be open and accessible to all people in the state, regardless of their station in life. During his 20 years on the court transformed its commitment to access to justice, most notably with the launch of the court's Access to Justice Commission during his tenure as Chief Justice. Court's leadership on these issues today is now looked at as a national model. Recently, the Access to Justice Commission commemorated Justice Kilbride's tenure and his work in the early days of the commission. The current justices, his former colleagues, early members of the commission, staff, and partners wrote wonderful tributes, but perhaps it was best summed up by retired Justice and former Chief Justice Lloyd Carmeier, who said, "The groundbreaking steps taken by the Access to Justice Commission have brought us closer to fulfilling the promise of equal justice under the law more than any time in our history. Justice Kilbride's vision and personal commitment are directly responsible for this remarkable achievement. No judge could have left a greater legacy." It's not just for that legacy, but a spirit of service that the Bar Foundation has created the Thomas L. Kilbride Public Service Award. The award is intended to honor unsung lawyers and judges who display a commitment to public service and access to justice. It's very fitting today that Judge Maxwell Griffin is the first recipient. Judge Griffin has served as an associate judge in the Child Protection Division of the Circuit Court since 2003. Judge Malinoff has said that Judge Griffin is a deeply involved jurist who makes work personal, seeing each child as his own. He uses the power given child protection judges to fashion justice and solution to solve the problems a child and their parents encounter. That's why he's a mentor to all of the judges in the division. His inspirational work makes him the perfect choice to be the first recipient of this award. Please honor me in congratulating Judge Maxwell Griffin as the recipient of the Thomas L. Kilbride Public Service Award.
So good afternoon. First of all, thank you. I need to put an end to the rumor that was me 40 years ago on the Midnight Special, that my table is trying to suggest that was not me. I am truly honored to receive this award in the name of Justice Kilbride, who has, along with other members of our Supreme Court and our judiciary, done so much to improve access. They've given me 2 minutes, and I'm the first one, so I'm going to stay on track. For those that know me, I spent 21 years as a trial attorney before going to the bench. I can't do anything in 2 minutes. There's nothing that I can do except thank the many people in my life. I'd like to start by thanking the hardworking judges, my colleagues at Ogden and Roosevelt in the juvenile court, both on the juvenile justice side and on the child protection division, who have kept working through the pandemic, serving the families in our community, supporting the families and the children virtually. Every day we're running full calls down there, and we will soon be back in the building. But I'd like to thank my colleagues who work long and hard hours serving the community. For me, it's been a very special 18 years that I have spent doing this type of work. There is nothing more rewarding. In addition to my colleagues, the state's attorneys, the guardian ad litems, the public defenders, the private bar counsel that work in that building, away from the mainstream, not seen by others, putting in hard work, serving the community. This I accept for them, and I hope going forward that everyone will understand and appreciate the hard work that is being done by our judiciary in leading the profession in this regard. Now, I can't get away. I'm sure I'm at my 2-minute limit without thanking people in my life. My son is here. I'm very proud of him. He's a 28 and a half week miracle. He was born that early, and he's here today doing a job where he supervises 25 people. I couldn't be more proud. But the rock of my life is my love. For 40 years, married to Linda. She's here taping this, so I am on record as having thanked her. So that's great. My sister Paula has come in from Maryland, and my sister Ramona, who works for BMO, she lives here in Chicago. She is here, and a dear close friend, Debbie Moretsky, who has been my progressive Democrat, liberal, crazy Democrat, kindred spirit for years. So all of those people have been very important to me. I wanted to acknowledge them, and thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lynn Grayson, and as the new CBA president, I am thrilled to have the opportunity to serve as one of today's co-hosts. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to congratulate and celebrate with some of the champions that have made life just a little bit better for those who live and work in Chicago. It is unfortunately not news to any of us in this room that new lawyers, when they graduate from law school and think about public service, and want to explore those options, realize immediately that they have financial challenges. Skyrocketing debt loads can be insurmountable when it comes to thinking about career options, and particularly challenging for those that may wish to pursue public interest work. Kimball and Karen Anderson understand this reality and the toll that it takes on public service-minded young lawyers. Since 2002, they have funded the Anderson Fellowship, which, thanks to their generosity, provides a $50,000 fellowship to public interest lawyers to help them pay off their school loans. Kimball and Karen are with us today, and we thank them for their continued leadership and support. Their generous financial support has made it possible for many young lawyers to follow their passion and to use their education for the good of all of us in the community. I'm pleased to present this year's fellowship to Elisa Phillips. Since graduating from Notre Dame's law school in 2017, Elisa always knew she wanted to pursue a public interest career and found her calling at the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless, where she currently is the education attorney for their law project. In just a relatively short time at the coalition, Elisa's impact on some of our most in-need young people in Chicagoland has already been nothing short of remarkable. She runs outreach, professional training, legal clinics on the educational rights of students. She offers clinics at a wide variety of schools, libraries, and community venues, focusing on suburban Cook County and the collar counties. As one of her colleagues aptly noted about her passion for her work, Elisa is a strong, resourceful, and passionate advocate for the homeless students and families, and is clearly dedicated to making a career out of social justice and public interest work. Thanks again to the Anderson Fellowship, she can continue her important work with a peace of mind, with added financial security, and literally thousands of young people in our community will continue to be better off because of her special work. Please join me in congratulating this year's Anderson Fellowship, Elisa Phillips.
Thank you so much for those kind words and introduction. As was said, my name is Alyssa Phillips, and I'm an education attorney at the Law Project of the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless. And I am so honored to be this year's recipient of the CBF Anderson Public Interest Law Fellowship. There are over 10,836 students in Chicago alone who are experiencing homelessness. And this number is low when it's taken into consideration how difficult it is to identify homeless students and families. Despite laws that protect the rights of students experiencing homelessness, they often face insurmountable obstacles to attending and succeeding in school. When schools went remote this year, it became even more challenging for families who did not have a stable place to call home. And I knew as well as with my colleagues that we would have to think creatively to actually be able to get services to our clients. One way that we did this is with our wonderful organizers at CCH in forming a group of parents and grandparents who have children in CPS with lived experience of homelessness. We titled this group the CPS Focus Group, and they went to work right away. These women successfully advocated with CPS that all students experiencing homelessness should receive computing devices and Wi-Fi hotspots to be able to actually access school. These women advocated and helped create a guidance document that the Illinois State Board of Education adopted and sent to schools in Illinois that was upheld as a national model that other states should emulate. They wrote advocacy letters around access to in-classroom learning and food and safety protocol and equitable policies, as well as how funding should be used from the new American Rescue Plan Act. These women presented at conferences virtually and did trainings for CPS, as well as did interviews with the media that led to donations and needed services to families in need. Despite all the challenges these women faced, they showed up continuously through Zoom and through outreach to be able to support their communities and to support other students who were experiencing homelessness. I am so honored that some of these women were able to come today, and I would love if they're able for them to stand up so that we can thank them for all the work that they did and continue to do. I want to end by saying that if we really want to fight for the educational rights of homeless students, we have to root all of our work in racial equity, and we have to actually fight for affordable, wraparound, equitable, accessible housing for all. Thank you so much to Karen and Kimball Anderson for the availability and for their generosity of this. Thank you so much to my supportive and wonderful partner and my coworkers and my family, and for all of you here. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite up to the podium my friend and immediate past CBA President, Mariam Ahmad.
Thank you, Lynn. Hi, my name is Mariam Ahmed, and I am the immediate past president of the Chicago Bar Association, and I am proud to be a part of today's program. And to echo what Veronica said, it feels exhilarating to be liberated from the Zoom platform where I have been trapped for the past year, just like most of you have been too. So it's wonderful to be here. Our next award is named in honor of Leonard J. Schrager, one of those special professors who was able to combine his incredible professional skills and experiences with his passion for teaching. Throughout Leonard's long and accomplished career, he inspired countless people to make pro bono and public service a central part of their careers. As a former president of both the CBA and the CBF, Leonard has had an amazing impact in the bar and our larger community. This luncheon was Leonard's brainchild when he was CBF president and is one of his many tremendous legacies. This award recognizes exemplary attorneys in academia who, in the spirit of Leonard's legacy, have made significant and lasting contributions to improving access to justice. We are honored that a group from Reed Smith, who helped create this award in Leonard's honor, is able to join us today, and we thank them for their continued support. The recipient of this year's Leonard J. Schrager Award of Excellence is Colleen Baraka. Colleen began her legal career as a legal aid attorney at the Legal Council for Health Justice and made quite an impact there. She helped many families affected by HIV/AIDS qualify for and access health care, achieve financial stability, and make thoughtful future plans for their children. She also played a lead role in a coalition of physicians, attorneys, and public health advocates who successfully worked to repeal a 25-year-old law which discriminated against children with HIV. As a former assistant state's attorney, Colleen was one of 4 prosecutors who handled nearly 4,000 involuntary admissions and psychotropic medication cases. This work also included conducting crisis intervention training for over 1,000 Cook County law enforcement officers and educating them about the legal rights of individuals experiencing mental crises. Colleen built on her early experiences in legal aid and public service in her current role as clinical associate professor at Northern Illinois University College of Law, where she is the director of the NIU Health Advocacy Clinic, a medical legal partnership located at the second largest homeless shelter in the state of Illinois. Colleen has focused her entire career making difference in the everyday lives of people, many of whom are in crisis and whom are impacted by poverty. In her time at NIU, Colleen has worked side by side with her students and colleagues to make a tremendous impact for the people who they are serving. And that impact has been exponential as the mentorship and experience she is giving her students is helping to create a whole new generation of dedicated pro bono attorneys and public servants throughout our state. It is my honor and privilege to present this year's Leonard J. Schrager Award of Excellence to Colleen Baraka.
Thank you so much. What a kind introduction. I'm just so happy to be here. The Chicago Bar Foundation has supported me throughout my career, and how honored I am to be recognized by an organization that does so much for public interest attorneys and to ensure equal access to justice for all. So congratulations to the other award recipients, and thank you to the law firm of Reed Smith for endowing this award. And also thank you to Professor Schrager for being a great example of all the good one can do with a law degree. I'm here today because of a lot of people. I'm here today because many of my NIU colleagues, who I'm happy to have with me, especially my clinical colleagues who make me a better lawyer and professor. I'm here because of my colleagues from the Legal Council for Health Justice, from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, and friends who support me every day. I'm very much here because of the love and support of my family. My husband Carl and 2 of my children are here. We left our toddler home because he'd be running between all these tables. But, you know, I've been lucky to have a lot of fulfilling jobs throughout my life, but Henry and Maggie, being your mom, is by far the most important one I have. But Carl and I have been thrilled to resign our positions as co-principals of the Baraka Family E-Learning Academy after we closed down in April, hopefully to never open again. So the clinic that I direct is located in Aurora at a place called Hesed House. Students come to the clinic at the shelter and spend between 8 to 16 hours a week working on cases. Hesed is a Hebrew word that means unconditional love and mercy. And students are very surprised that although it's a homeless shelter, it's a place of much joy, it's a place of much hope, and it's a place where you can see the resilience of the human spirit every single day. There's no greater example of loving your neighbor than the people who work on the front lines at Hesed House. And this was never more evident than the past 16 months when many of them literally sacrificed their own health and safety to make sure that the most vulnerable people in our society were kept safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. We are joined today by the leader of the Selfless Group, the executive director of Hesed House, Joe Jackson. Joe, thank you. Thank you for all you guys do for others, and thank you for letting my students and me be part of the Hesed family. There's something that's really great that happens to students who spend time at Hesed House. They show up in the beginning of the semester and they're talking about class ranks and outlines and everything that law students talk about. And they have very preconceived ideas of who's homeless. But over the semester, they realized that many of our clients are not that different than me and you, but for a couple life circumstances to lead them where they are. That over 50% of the people who live at Hesed House have full-time jobs, and on average, about 30 to 40 children call Hesed House home every night. And they realize that lawyers, like many of you, have a huge role to play in this. And by the end of the semester, when they leave, and they tell me that because of clinic, no matter what type of law they practice, they will use their degree to serve others, I know I've done my job. So thank you so much for this honor. I'm very, very honored by it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to see you here today. My name is Cindy Abbott, and I am the incoming president of the Chicago Bar Foundation. I want to welcome you here, and I also want to extend my congratulations to all of our amazing award recipients. I hope you are inspired by them as much as I am. Thanks to your support, the Chicago Bar Foundation continues to play an ongoing leadership role in making our justice system more fair, effective, and equitable for everyone, including the thousands of people in our community who cannot afford legal help. It is my distinct honor to serve as a CBF president this incoming year, and we have just adopted a brand new strategic plan that we think is quite ambitious. Copies of the plan and the strategic focus areas are on your tables, along with our updated mission, vision, and values statements. Our new plan recognizes where we are today, that with the pandemic and the reckoning with racial injustice in our community, we have a historic leadership opportunity to make the legal system fairer, more equitable, and more effective for everyone. And it is by coming together as a legal community around these issues that we can really build on an impressive record of innovation and improving our system of justice. The CBF is able to do all of this because of your partnership and strong support, which has made the CBF the largest voluntarily supported bar foundation in the country and a national leader on all of these issues. So we have a chance together to take our work to the next level. And as you hear these inspiring stories, please consider joining me in supporting the Chicago Bar Foundation by making a contribution. I know that many of you already did when you signed up to come to this luncheon. You can also make a gift online at the chicagobarfoundation.org, use the QR codes on your tables, and also fill out an envelope in the middle of your tables and mail it in afterwards. But today, one day only, you have a special incentive to donate. And anyone who makes a gift today or who contributed to the luncheon registration will be eligible for a drawing to win a day as a grantor and designate a special $1,000 CBF grant in your honor to one of the many CBF Outstanding Pro Bono and Legal Aid partners. And for those of you who can't donate, you are welcome to put your legal card in the envelope and drop it off to be entered into the raffle. So thank you so much to all of you for all you do to making the CBF a success. I look forward to working with every one of you in this incoming year. And now I would like to welcome Madeline Lewis to present our next award. Thank you and congratulations again.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to present this year's Edward J. Lewis II Pro Bono Service Award. My name is Madeline Lewis, and I'm Edward Lewis's youngest child. My father modeled for me the best that attorneys can be. Before he passed away to cancer, he instilled in me a sense of justice. He taught me to treat everyone equally with no exceptions and to be a person of service and advocacy. Because of the inspirational pro bono work that my father did in his career, I've often had the privilege and honor to attend the Chicago Bar Foundation Luncheon. Each year that I attend this program, I am astonished and humbled by the work that these attorneys are doing, their efforts to improve the justice system, and the clients they are helping. The work that my father did, and the work of the individuals who have received the award in his name, as well as this room of attorneys, represents what service is possible to accomplish as a lawyer. In fact, it has also been my sole motivator to follow in my father's footsteps, as well as the attorneys in the room today, and become a lawyer myself, as I just finished my first year of law school. This award was established in memory of my father's remarkable spirit, and it honors attorneys who, like him, display a deep commitment to fundamental principles of equal protection and equal justice in the community. I am pleased to announce that this year's recipient of the award is Andrew Vail. Your program only gives you a brief glimpse into what an amazing lawyer and person that Andrew is. It is particularly humbling to present this award to Andrew because he has so much in common with my father. Like my father did back in 1993, in 2009, Andrew was the recipient of the Weigel Award as a young lawyer, which we'll hear about more later in the program. Andrew was a key member of the Constitutional Rights Foundation and has been a leader and volunteer in the Lawyers in the Classroom project that my father was so passionate about. As one of his nominators stated well, Andrew is a force to be reckoned with in pro bono work, totaling over 6,500 hours during his career on a wide variety of cases spanning from individuals with wrongful accusations and convictions to systemically marginalized individuals with civil rights cases. Andrew previously served as the chair of Jenner & Block's pro bono program, and throughout his time at the firm has averaged nearly 400 pro bono hours a year. Andrew has also served on several committees and boards and can be credited with coordinating trailblazing collaboration between organizations to serve people in the community. Andrew's pro bono service is inspirational, and the impact of his pro bono work is truly helping to reshape the legal system for the better. For all those reasons and so many more, it is my honor to present this year's Lewis Award to Andrew Vail.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon and happy Friday. I can't think of a better way to restart gathering in person together than celebrating pro bono with all of you today. And Madeline, thank you so much for your kind remarks and for all that you and your family do to support this special day each year. I wish you the best of luck in your career in law and look forward to being there to support you in any and every way. I also want to thank Veronica and all of you wonderful people involved in the CBF, its board of directors, Bob and its staff, and the Young Professionals Board. The CBF and the CBA are beacons for our profession, and we are so lucky to benefit from their great work. And thanks to all of you who have gathered together today, with a special shout out to my family and friends, including so many in this room who I've been lucky enough to work with on pro bono matters over the years. So given that we're back in this room together and celebrating a shared commitment to community, I want to talk for a couple minutes about pro bono and the personal relationships that come from undertaking that work together. One of the most important relationships in my life, and the second most important, started by a phone introduction while sitting in my Jenner & Block office, the first being to my amazing wife, Ashley, who I love very much, and is now the beautiful mother of our young son, Kian. The second one was when I was brand new at the firm in 2003, and Tom Sullivan was on the line. He asked if I would join him on a pro bono project for the CHA, and from there, another pro bono project and another. And until very recently, I was fortunate enough to get to spend a lot of time with Tom, mostly working on criminal justice reform around the country. And like he has for so many others, Tom taught me valuable lessons about the law and life. I will always be grateful that I didn't pass up on the chance to work on pro bono and build a relationship with Tom, a wonderful man and lawyer. It is with these relationships that we can collaborate, learn, and work together to step up and serve the needs and challenges of our day and create a lasting impact. It was 1956 when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that criminal defendants were entitled to free transcripts to pursue appeals. Tom, a young lawyer at the time, convinced Burt Jenner to allow him and a couple other firm lawyers to together handle a flood of petitions from prisoners. They formed the Chicago Bar Association's Defense of Prisoners Committee, recruited other lawyers from around the city to join. That was the beginning of organized pro bono at the CBA and at Jenner & Block. Pro bono at Jenner & Block became and has remained a core value, part of our firm's DNA. That commitment translates in the real world to helping people like Patrick Pursley, here today, who had been wrongfully convicted and incarcerated based on bad ballistics evidence and false testimony, wrongfully imprisoned for over 20 years. A team of Jenner & Block lawyers answered his request to help fight for new forensic testing under a revised Post-Conviction Act and ultimately obtained a new trial, uncovered police and prosecutorial misconduct, and on January 16, 2019, in a courtroom in Rockford, Illinois, obtained an acquittal for him. He now is a free man. He spends his time educating and assisting at-risk youth. Patrick Pursley. It also translates to assisting the United Way and building stronger neighborhoods across the region so individuals and families can thrive. There's a lot that Jenner & Block does, and we have now committed over the next 5 years to $250 million worth of pro bono. With great sadness, we lost Tom in May. He was 92. But the legacy he created, the work that he did, the lessons he taught us, his spirit and commitment to civility, truth-telling, and justice live on. Edward Lewis II was part of that legacy. Indeed, in 2004, Tom presented the Edward J. Lewis II Award and spoke of his admiration for Edward and Edward's tremendous commitment to pro bono and his ability to recruit others to join in that important work. And you are all part of that legacy. You've gathered here today to celebrate pro bono and the remarkable work and achievements of Alyssa, Teresa, Judge Griffin, Sarah, Colleen, and Michelle, and the remarkable commitment by all of you at legal aid organizations the bar organization, those working in public service in the judiciary, providing our community with pro bono commitment to public service day in and day out. I'll leave you with something Tom once told me. He said, "You won't remember any of your big dollar cases when you get to be my age, but the pro bono cases where you make a difference in someone's life, you'll never forget those." Today and each day, let us cherish the legacies of Tom, of Edward, and so many who have gone before us, including those we've lost since we were last in this room together. Let's remind ourselves that our time together is special and it's limited, and we should use it to build relationships with one another to better ourselves and the world outside these walls. Be kind and be bold, and thank you.
Andrew, congratulations again, and congratulations to all of our award winners. For more than 40 years now, the Maurice Weigel Exceptional Young Lawyer Award has celebrated the exceptional contributions of young lawyers to the profession, the organized bar, and our community. The award reflects the inspiring family legacy of an extraordinary father and son, Maurice W. Weigel and Maurice S. Weigel, who each exhibited a lifelong devotion to law and to our community. This year's recipient is Sarah Grady, a partner at Lowy & Lowy. Sarah leads the firm's prisoners' rights practice and has dedicated her legal career to ensuring the rights of all incarcerated people. Frankly, most of us don't spend a lot of time thinking about the plight of people that are in prison or in our jails, who are disproportionately people of color and are often some of the most in need individuals in our communities. This was particularly true when the pandemic took hold last year, and we all learned that people indoors and in close quarters were at heightened risk. From the start of her career in law practice, Sarah has been a fierce advocate for her clients, both in individual and class action civil rights lawsuits, and is widely admired for her passion, her dedication, and her skills as a lawyer. She has helped countless individuals directly with her work and helped improve the system overall. But Sarah does not stop there with her own work. She has taken a lead role in coordinating and supporting pro bono lawyers working on prisoner civil rights cases here in Chicago and throughout the country. Pro bono counsel at the most prominent firms in Chicago look to Sarah for her leadership and support and for cases in federal court, typically where you receive an appointment from the district court. She created and continues to manage a listserv to help lawyers newer take advantage of the experience and the resources of experienced advocates without having to reinvent the wheel, making it possible to help more people with our limited resources and to make sure that that is effective counsel. She also serves with distinction on the board of the Uptown People's Law Center and the Illinois Prisoner Project's Steering Committee. For all of these reasons, she is an exceptional lawyer. Please join me in congratulating Sarah Grady with the Weigel Award this year.
Well, thank you, everybody. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I am just so honored and humbled to be here with the other award winners today whose work is just really incredibly inspiring. Thanks also to Mark Kadish and Alan Mills for your support. And of course to my husband, Howard, who is also a litigator and helps me litigate against our children for bedtime every night. During the early days of the pandemic, I was privileged to represent men and women who were incarcerated in the Cook County Jail and the IDOC. And I got to see others on that team and other advocates across the country bringing similar claims do what I think is really the best and most inspiring work of lawyering. They use the skills that they had learned in law school and throughout their careers to meet the moment of this emergency we were in. They became creative lawyers who used every tool in their toolbox to advocate for people who were among the most vulnerable to this deadly pandemic that made its way throughout prisons and jails throughout the country. And they achieved meaningful reform for those individuals, both inside the courtroom, but also outside of the courtroom, with policymakers and other people in positions of power helping to persuade them to do things to keep those people safe and reduce the very real risks that they faced. That privilege is actually something I get to see every single day through the listserv that I help to run. I see all of you and so many at big law firms, small law firms, solo practices, lawyers who take appointments and do pro bono work, take those appointments seriously, and help represent people who have civil rights claims about abuses they're suffering while incarcerated. I see you all uncover the evidence that helps these individuals to prove their claims, evidence that would be virtually inaccessible to them without a lawyer because of the unfair system that is faced by people who are in prisons and jails and don't get access to the types of tools that we have at our fingertips. I get to see how that impacts not only those cases where the appointments are made, but also the next prisoner who brings a case about abuses they're suffering and aren't met with the same incredulity or bad precedent that the last one was, thanks to the work that you've all done. Jenner had a case recently where they won a very meaningful award for a prisoner who had been denied medical care by the prison medical company. And it was thanks to the hard work of those lawyers that achieved that reform and that made a meaningful impact not only for that client, but for all the clients who come after. And I get to see that day after day through that listserv, through the calls I get to have with all of you who do that work. I'm really humbled to be a part of this community, and I'm really honored that I have the opportunity today to speak about it. So thank you so very much.
Hello again. This next award was created and endowed by Exelon before my time at the company, when Exelon already was one of the trailblazers for corporate pro bono programs, not just in Chicago, but really in the entire country. I've seen firsthand in my time at Exelon the value and impact that corporate counsel can play through pro bono, both in the direct impact of the work for the people that we're helping, but also through the partnerships and the positive influence that we can have with our outside law firms. This award honors the pro bono contributions of outstanding attorneys in the corporate sector, who almost always are doing that work outside of the spotlight. And this year's honoree, Teresa Duckett, is particularly deserving of this recognition. Teresa currently works as Associate General Counsel and VP at BMO Financial Group, where she developed and implemented their pro bono program in 2015, and that built on her remarkable track record of pro bono while she was on the law firm side. Teresa's been particularly active in pro bono efforts with the National Immigrant Justice Center, taking on often complex immigration cases herself and encouraging scores of colleagues and outside law firms to take on cases as well. As one of her nominators put it, Teresa's creative and resourceful management style draws on and empowers the legal community. Asylum law is complex and can involve a long-term commitment that often intimidates corporate legal department attorneys, not Teresa. In the past 5 years, she's served as co-counsel on multiple asylum cases with a variety of law firm partners. So I am pleased to present this year's Outstanding Corporate Counsel Award to Teresa Duckett. So Teresa could not be here with us today, and we've talked about some of the burdens of technology, but there are, of course, great benefits to it. It's allowed us to continue our work safely in the last year, and so through the power of technology, Teresa was able to record her remarks, and we can all hear from her.
Thank you. First, I'm very grateful for the recognition of receiving the Exelon Outstanding Corporate Counsel Award. It's an honor to even be considered for an award like this, but then seeing myself alongside the other award recipients this year is quite humbling. I'm not just accepting this for myself, though, but really it's for all the volunteers who I work with every day at BMO and in the Chicago community who make pro bono happen. The support we give each other is it's inspiring, it's enriching, and it's fuel for doing more good. The first pro bono case I handled was representing an asylum seeker from Colombia, a trade union leader who saw his friends and co-workers gunned down before his eyes. Luis came with his wife and his daughter from Colombia to Chicago, and I knew that if they were sent back home, it would be a death sentence for them. The outcome of his request would be life-changing for Luis and his family, one way or another. What I did not appreciate, though, was that it was life-changing for me as well when Luis was granted asylum. I was committed to keeping pro bono on my docket, even if it was just one case at a time. I'm incredibly lucky today to work with amazing legal and compliance professionals at BMO who make pro bono happen. When I need help with a clinic or when I need someone to step up to translate, someone answers that call. And that says something about who we are and what we do. I'm not just lucky, though. I'm really proud to call them my colleagues. A dear friend of mine encouraged me very early in my career to be the candle in someone's darkness. I believe in that power. I believe we can all be the candle in someone's darkness. Thank you.
I'm here now to present our last award of the afternoon, and this is the Morsch Award. Tom Morsch had an aspiring vision when he and his family worked with the Chicago Bar Foundation to create this final award today. He always felt that lawyers in private practice received a disproportionate amount of recognition for their pro bono contributions, and that is in recognition or in comparison to lawyers who dedicated their careers to public interest law, often at great sacrifice. For this reason, he created an award to honor public service attorneys who have dedicated their careers to serving the poor and disadvantaged and demonstrated lifelong excellence in the quality of their work. Tom and his family, I was honored to meet them this afternoon, are here today. And this award includes a generous honorarium for the recipient. Today, the winner of that award is Michelle Gilbert of the Lawyers Committee for Better Housing. Michelle has dedicated her career to serving some of the most vulnerable people in our community, working in legal aid for more than 30 years and fighting for tenants who are awfully unjustly facing eviction or other housing problems, and they really need a good lawyer to help them. She's a tenacious advocate on behalf of her clients, fighting for them and guiding them through a time of terrible crisis so they remain stable and housed whenever possible. In addition to helping thousands of individual clients over the years, she has been equally dedicated to improving a system where there historically have been huge power imbalances between landlords and tenants. She has worked on legislation, on impact litigation, and court reform to help level the playing field in these cases. Somehow, she's also always found time to share her deep knowledge and experience on housing issues and mentoring others for legal aid colleagues, pro bono lawyers, law students, and many others. You can read more about Michelle's dedication and good work in the program, but she has always done this humbly and without seeking any recognition. So for all of these reasons, it is my honor to present Michelle Gilbert with this year's Morsch Award.
this is our dog, Louie. He's my demonstrative exhibit today because he helps me make 2 points. You see, my family adopted Louie so that I could settle an eviction case. I only have 2 minutes, so I can't tell you the whole story. I have been on the phone with people who are literally being dispossessed of their home and their possessions. And because of that, I will do just about anything to prevent an eviction. And that's what I hope we take with us from this year, that prevention is better than treatment. Wearing masks prevents COVID. We need to take action to prevent eviction. We need to make it harder to evict people and easier for landlords to get rental assistance. Okay, second point. This has been so far from just my work. Our adopting Louie is only part of the evidence of how my family is committed to the work that I have done. For my son Noah, that meant weekends at World AIDS Day events, school vacation days at the office, organizing documents, going to court with me. For my amazing husband, Aiden, that has meant driving me everywhere, I don't drive, to clients' homes where he could also notarize documents, to suburban courthouses, to Springfield. It meant that he baked cookies once so that we could raise money to pay a client's rent. And last fall, it meant that he let me negotiate an ordinance from his hospital room. You're so amazing, and I love you so much. And I'm so glad that my mother could join today because we did not grow up with money. I actually, there's a kind of potato chip in Peoria that I call the payday potato chips because that was the week of the month that you got that kind. But my mother taught me that money wasn't the most important thing, and the work that I do is to honor the sacrifice that you made to keep our family together. And I know that I would not be the person I am today if my family had followed the white flight out of the South Side 50 years ago, and I am so glad that we stayed. Now, I have worked with so many great legal aid attorneys over 30 years, I mean, please, that I could not literally name everyone who has been a mentor and a colleague and a younger attorney who's excited me about doing a new case. But I can say that the HIV Project will always be closest in my heart, that Julie, Michelle, Kenya, Emily, Phoenix, you are my family too. I carry you with me all the time. I'd like to say thank you to Mark and LCBH for giving me this one last shot to do some housing policy on my way out the door. I'd like to say thank you to the Morsch family for recognizing legal aid attorneys, and for the Chicago Bar Foundation, not only for your work in organizing all of this, giving us this honor and this opportunity to say these words, but also all the work that you've done on eviction court reform. Because that's the thing to remember, the eviction moratorium ends in 2 weeks, and we need to get back to work. Thank you.
All right, we did it, guys. It's really great to see you all up here and to be with you all today. So thank you for small step for reopening our city. You know, big step to really recognize such an amazing group of people again. I'd love to give them one more round of applause if we can. Michelle, I think that's the first time anybody brought props like that up here. That was a good way to finish. But I want to start with a few thank yous. It took a lot to, it was different kind of putting this together this year than usual because the Hilton wasn't even open until a few weeks ago. As you heard, this is the first event here. So I want to echo what Veronica said at the beginning and just thank everybody here at the Hilton. You guys have been amazing, and we're so excited to be back with you. So thank you. But on our team, who are all behind at the back of the room there, or most of them are back there, making sure you can't leave until I'm finished. Emmy Veenbos has been the ringleader, mostly the wizard behind the curtain, but you can see her actually back there now, who's put this all together, and Samira, who really has worked on the awards process. But you guys, thank you. And a couple of great interns that have made this possible too, Bibi and Jennifer and everyone else back there that's helped today. You guys are great. I thought about trying to find an outfit like Johnny Nash was wearing in the video to wear today, and I thought, you know, people are going to be yelling and screaming for a whole different reason if I do that. So thank me, I put on a tie instead. It's been a long time for one of those too. But he looks great in it, I will say that. And the song really, there was 3 reasons we thought that really made a lot of sense this year. I mean, first, just the spirit of optimism I think we all feel just to be out and doing stuff again. It's just seeing the light, you know, like literally to go back out and do everything. You know, it's an exciting time right now. So that's the first part. You know, the second part is, if you think back to last year, and if you were able to watch our virtual event last year, our song was from Bruce Springsteen, who's made many appearances here, Waiting on a Sunny Day, one of his better songs, I would say, and that's saying something. I mean, he's got quite a lot of them, but it really fit the times last year, because about this time last year, if you think back, was the time when all of a sudden it was becoming apparent, like, this thing isn't really going away. You know, it's like, this is going to be with us for a while. And there was nobody, you know, up on our virtual stage who was whining about that or making any, you know, any like excuses or anything like that. They were putting their shoulder down and saying, we got to be more resolute than ever and do more than ever. And that group did that. All of you did that over this past year. It's been amazing to watch from flying 30,000 feet above just how much great work has happened over this past year. And it's reflected in the folks we honored today, which has been so inspiring to hear and to see in person again, to see you guys and be able to do that. So not everybody is feeling quite that optimism just yet. There's a lot of people still struggling right now. And they most often tend to be the people who already were suffering from inequality in our communities. So we've got an inspiring group of people who show us, once again, that spirit of optimism that we can really make a big difference here. And you heard, I mean, just the stories we heard today from our honorees. Just take the 7 of them, show you anywhere in this legal community, judge, lawyer, wherever you are, you can make a huge difference. We all can do that. And that's been true over the years, and it's true of all of you. And I think we all got some inspiration to continue to do that. But the last thing that I can see clearly, and I think we all can see clearly, is a fairer and better and more equitable system going forward. What seemed like a pipe dream probably about 18 months ago, or 16 months ago, I could even say that probably. The idea that you could go to court by video, you wouldn't have to show up to court to file stupid things, like routine things. A lot of us have been talking about that for a long time, but who knows if that ever would have happened or when that would have happened. But when we didn't have a choice last year, the way everybody adapted, the courts, the lawyers, the profession, to take that on, showed us this is no pipe dream. We know we can do this, and there's no way we're going back. No way. Never again should somebody have to go to court for just a routine hearing or to file something. Never. That's a commitment I want everybody here to make. There's no reason for that. If they want to go, sure. And yeah, trials, substantive hearings, all those things, sure. I can't wait to get back in court for those too. But like, that has done more for access to open the door that people don't have to drive 50 miles to do a routine hearing. A lawyer trying to represent them doesn't have to drive 50 miles to do that. Think of how much more affordable and accessible they can be to that client. How much more affordable and accessible they can be in court. We know we can do that now. So now we think about how does that build into the system of the future? And we can see that clearly. The other thing we can see from this past year is the overdue reckoning that happened with racial injustice that really was on our screens initially, I think, just brought the conversation to a fore. But now we're actually talking about not just that we need to do something about it, but what we're going to do about it. And that, too, is something I think we can see this more equitable system coming forward. We can see a lot of these inequities that have been inherent in our system of justice for a long time in our overall community and see that we can make them better. So we got in front of us, we have that vision of this fairer and more accessible and more effective system that Cindy talked about that is the forefront of our strategic plan now. Just because we can see it clearly, though, doesn't mean it's going to be easy. In fact, you know, if you think back to the song, which we'll play again when I'm finished, he says, I can see all obstacles in the way. There's plenty of obstacles out there, and let's face it, most of them are human. People who can't wait to go back to what was a comfortable way that they were doing things before that we know wasn't working really for everybody else, just about everybody else. We got to rethink what we're doing. We've got that inspiration to do it, and now we know we can do it. So I can't wait to get on that with all of you, to keep working with you to do that. The CBF is ready to roar. We're looking forward to, all of us are looking forward to working with you. You're the ones who are making it possible. Congrats again to everybody today who we honored, and onward and upward. Have a great day.